Let's fast forward a bit. I'm going to load a scene from the scenes folder called Control Hierarchy B. I've finished adding in the other 3 bones and their controls. So if we go to Command, we can see the list here. Let's organize this list. Let's create a new variable. Just call this one arm underscore finger expressions R. Let's drag that to the top of the list just under our fan mesh constraints. We'll hold down the Shift key and highlight thumb control R and select all of the expressions. Parent that to this finger expressions. And close it up. Now we have a clean list we can work from. We're going to create 3 more bones. We're going to attach them to the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist to finish our control hierarchy. So let's click into Setup. We'll just select Pinky Control R. It has all of our settings, like slip is set to 1, and there's no align to Z. We'll click into File. We'll clone that 3 times. Under Multiply, 1, 2, 3. Go back into Setup. Open up the rename block. We'll start with the Control R one. We'll just call that one Wrist Control R. Select the second one here. We'll call this one Elbow Control R. Select the third one, Bicep Control R. Since bicep is at the top of the list, we can just turn this into a hierarchy. Since they're all sitting on 0 on X, Y, and Z, it doesn't matter. So we'll parent elbow to bicep, and we'll parent wrist to elbow. Let's go to Command. Let's create a new variable for the bicep. We'll call this one arm underscore bicep control align R. Let's click into Animate. We'll select bicep for now. Go back into Command tab. We'll find Align in the pull-down menu here for the expression. The first one will be Bicep Control R, which is down here at the bottom. It's going to align itself to Bicep 1R. 1 to turn the expression on. We'll right-click to add that expression. Click on the end of that, add the plus symbol. We'll right-click it again and change this align to Move to. So now you can see our bone is selected and moved to the wrist. We'll set this to after IK. Let's create a new variable. Call this one arm underscore bicep control heading R. So while our bicep control is selected, highlight heading, right-click on the buffer button to add that to the expression. We'll click on Bicep 1R. We'll highlight heading, open up the channels block, and add that as a channel. Set the channel modifier to additive. So when we click on our control, we can rotate our shoulder on heading. Let's grab this variable, we'll just copy it. Select heading 1, we'll just change that to pitch R. And we'll change the heading on the end of this expression to pitch, all lowercase. And click on the channel, we'll change the channel to pitch. So now we highlight our bicep control and pitch. We pitch the bicep down. Select that expression again. We'll copy it once more. We'll highlight the copy. Change this one to bank R. Change the pitch under the expression here to bank, all lowercase. Highlight pitch down here at the bottom under the channels. Change that to bank. Channel modifier set to additive. So when we bank our bicep control, it banks the whole arm. Let's close these down. We'll drag bicep control to the bottom of the list so it grabs our original setup value, which is 0, aligns it to it. So when we add our keyframes, our control bone does all the work, and then we make it look like we're using the actual bone in the hierarchy instead of our control bone. Let's do the same thing for the elbow and the wrist. Let's go into Animate. We'll highlight Elbow, Control R. Click into Command. Let's create a new variable. Call this one arm underscore elbow control align R. See, align is still in our expressions down here, so let's just highlight elbow control R. We'll change this one to forearm 1 R, 1 to turn it on. So right click to add that expression, click to the end, add the plus symbol, right click to add it once more, and change the align to move to. Change this to after IK. You can see it shows up on our elbow. Let's create a new variable. Call this one arm underscore elbow control pitch R. Highlight pitch on our elbow control. Right click on the buffer field to add that to the expression. And we'll middle mouse click and highlight forearm 1 R. Select pitch as the channel and add that channel. Set the channel modifier to additive so it stays in the same spot. So when we select our elbow control, we can pitch the arm forward. Let's close that up. Move that to the bottom of the list. So our elbow is controlling our elbow in the hierarchy, and then it aligns itself to the new position so it looks as if we grab the elbow. Do the same thing for the wrist. Let's go back into Animate. We'll highlight Wrist Control. Click into Command. To create a new variable, call this one arm underscore Wrist Control Align R. See, we have align still selected in the list. Change that elbow to wrist. Go to forearm. We'll highlight Wrist R, 1 to turn it on. Right click on that. Add the plus symbol to the end, right click on it again, change the align to move to. Move to. We'll set this to after IK, so it shifts itself to the wrist. And we'll create a new variable, call this one arm underscore wrist control heading R. So highlight heading on the wrist. Right click that to add that to the expression field. We'll select the wrist bone, we'll highlight heading, add that as a channel, set the channel modifier to additive. Let's highlight the heading expression, we'll copy that, we'll select the copy, change this to pitch R, change the heading section under the expression here to pitch, all lowercase, highlight heading, channel, and we'll change that to pitch. So now we highlight our control, we can pitch the wrist up and down, heading the wrist. Do the same thing, we will copy this variable, select the copy, we'll change this one to bank R, and change the expression to bank, all lowercase. You can see it banking. We'll highlight pitch. We'll change the pitch channel to bank. So now we have a wrist control that we can bank heading and pitch on. So we'll close these up. Drag the wrist control to the bottom of the pile here so that it will align our new wrist from our wrist control, and then it'll move and align our wrist control to the new position. Let's create a new variable, call this one arm underscore arm expressions. We'll highlight everything that has to do with the wrist, elbow, and bicep. Parent that to arm expressions. We'll close that up. We go back into Animate and head all the way up here to Clavicle R. We'll just close down that entire list. Hold down the Control key and change that to N. And then change Clavicle back to E. So now all we have are a list of our controls. As a matter of fact, we can even move the bicep onto the root. So we have our bicep, elbow, and arm outside of our hierarchy, so we can still animate our back and our clavicle, neck, and head. So it doesn't matter really where these are parented, because our expressions will move to and align them to our new positions on the hierarchy. We can select all of our bones and rotate them any way we want. Go to File. Going to save this scene as ControlHeirarchies2.fxs.